Hi, guys. Thanks for subscribing. If you're a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber and you just kind of happen to find me another way, hit that button and help us out and be a subscriber and tell your friends. So, Trump, as we've noted before, is tanking in the polls with regard to his performance with regard to the economy. Now, the economy is really the main reason why he won, aside from the cheating and everything. But remember, the press was not reporting on the excellent Biden economy, and Trump actually had people thinking he would be better for them on the economy. Now, I'm not talking about MAGA, red hat wearing, toothless rally goers who can't spell economy. I'm talking about people who are probably not MAGA cult, but they care about their own wallet first. Not oligarchs, not billionaires, but definitely I'd put them in the donor class. So they matter. And right now, they are pissed off, and rightfully so. The economy is tanking. The stock market is tanking. Trump isn't doing anything that he promised to do. Of course, when you look at Trump's own handling of money and businesses over the years and all the bankruptcies, and he cannot win unless he lies, cheats, steals, steps on the little guy. Trump is simply not smart enough to be an actual good businessman. He's just a crook. He is, after all, a convicted felon. So keep that in mind. So these people are kind of getting what they deserve in many ways. But listen to this. The Wall Street Journal is now reporting, and this is the type of news that really scares the donor class, that he's replacing the acting IRS commissioner they appointed just 3 days earlier, continuing the upheaval at the top of the agency. So Deputy Treasury Secretary Michael Falkender will now run the IRS. Okay. Becoming, get this, the fifth person this year to hold the job. 5 people have held that job in less than 4 months. January, February, March, April. We're not done with it. 3.5 months. That is insane. That is insane. That shows incompetence, instability, somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, probably wanting people to, break the law for him. And if they don't, he gets rid of them. This is what Trump is doing. This is not what the donor class and voters, economic voters, want to hear. This scares them. So he is losing voters. Now, the reason, okay, he's also he's replacing Gary Shapley, the former IRS criminal investigator who had criticized the government's investigation of Hunter Biden. There you go. See, this does not instill confidence in people. And let's see, Shapley replaced former IRS executive Melanie Krause, and she replaced longtime IRS official Douglas O'Donnell, who had replaced Danny Werfel. Okay. Yeah, this sounds crazy. This is what makes people nervous. Now, the really, really, really rich people, the oligarchs and the gazillionaires and and billionaires, and the people with the hundreds of millions of dollars, they're okay because they get an exemption from Trump. They bribe him. They cut deals. They go to him hat in hand, and they get exemptions. They get little carve outs. See, he just hurts everybody. And then in order for them to get him to stop hurting their businesses, they have to go to him hat in hand. And you can bet there's some, meme coin money being passed around and other money that certainly is without the reach of oversight. Well, they've gotten rid of all oversight. So Trump is just stuffing his coffers because he wants to be an oligarch. Remember, that's why he is in prison. He escaped prison because Putin and the media and Elon Musk got him in to office to keep him out of prison. And in exchange for this, they get to run things, and Trump just wants to be rich. It's ego. So this means that the IRS is rudderless, and we know this. We've seen what has happened in the stock market. We've seen what people's what their retirement savings are. Everybody is scared. We see inflation going up. We are in the tariff terrorism by Trump hasn't even begun yet, but people are feeling it. So no one feels safe. No one trusts him. There's regret out there, as there should be. And we've kind of been watching this for a while. Well, what's interesting is Trump is tanking in the polls with regard to the economy. And again, the economy is the main reason why he won, this perception that he would be better at it, which is ridiculous on its face. So people kind of get what they deserve. But when you lose people on the economy, you've lost them. Now, I'm not talking about, again, the idiots who think he's the second coming of Jesus, and they'll pass up paying rent on their mobile home, and send it to Trump or to buy gold sneakers. We're not talking about that. We're again talking about economic voters. They're hurting now, and they don't trust Trump. All right. Why this matters. These are also the people who are donors to Republican senators, House members. And so we've been talking a lot about Senator Lisa Murkowski, Republican from Alaska, stating publicly that many Republican senators, or all Republican senators that she knows, are afraid of Trump, terrified of Trump, and it does affect their vote. They're afraid of retaliation. Now, I don't know if that means physical threats to their physical safety and their life, or just to the safety of their seat. They'll be primaried. But there's safety in numbers. And the more of them that speak out, the safer they are. And you only need a handful of them in the Senate and the House to make the difference. The reason this matters is once they become more afraid of their own constituents and their own donor class than they are of Trump, we have a shot at saving this country. And that might sound sad, but that's how things work. So that's why this news of this crazy nonsense at the IRS and the crazy tariffs that seem designed to tank our economy, not to mention just dismantling our Constitution, basic human rights in this country. We have no justice system. Anybody can be deported. We don't have due process anymore. But again, the people that only care about their own bank accounts and their own investments don't care about that. And that's really important to note. You might not like it, but that is kind of the reality of politics, particularly Republican politics. So the donor class is unhappy, and everybody generally is unhappy with Trump's performance on the economy. They feel betrayed. They feel lied to, duh. But the instability that Trump is displaying on a daily basis is chipping away at the voter support that he needed. And so he's thinking, okay, I don't need voters anymore. Well, you need your Republicans in the House and Senate. And so that's why, in a way, I'm hoping this is good news, that some of these people will make the shift, will put the pressure on Republican senators to do something. And that means that fear that Senator Lisa Murkowski told us about, that Republicans in the Senate have of Donald Trump, she said that has affected their votes and their public policy positions and their actions as senators, which is sad and disgusting, but let's just, this is the hand we've been dealt. We have to make sure that those Republican senators are more afraid of us, or at least of their donor class, than they are of Trump. This is all based on fear. We've been told this outright. We know that Trump operates on fear. That's all he has. So we have to accept that, and we have to find a way to play that game and win. And I think a real good start, people showing up at the protests a couple of weeks ago, show up at all the protests, get real loud, get real loud. Even if you're not part of that donor class, you can show your disapproval. I think for a long time, people thought it didn't matter what we did, that we had no power. And we're starting to see that while it's really hard work and it takes a while, we do have power. We do have power. So this new reporting by the Wall Street Journal today, just this afternoon, about all this turmoil at the IRS is interesting, particularly because the guy at the top of the IRS, the one that's getting fired this time, kept DOGE out of the IRS. Remember, they wanted to access the personal information. Just go in, send in these teen incels of Elon Musk's to go in and access all of the data at the IRS. The guy says no. So he's getting fired. That's where we are.